Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Look, we all know that the VA has had some issues over the past however many years with recruiting, retention on the VBA side, mass employees leaving. On the VHA side, the Health Administration, being able to hold on to and retain medical staff, right? Medical staff leaving, shortages, and what have you. Now, I read an article here, and the headline goes, VA aggressively, in quotations, using workforce retention tools with more coming soon. So I wanted to share that with you. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. If you're not a member, consider joining. It does help the channel out a lot, and it helps me to find you in the comments. All right, jumping into the article here. All right, catch my breath. The Department of Veterans Affairs, and oh, by the way, it will be in the description below. So the Department of Veterans Affairs says it's putting new recruitment and retention incentives to efficient, it'd be the same thing. This says effective. I like efficient, so whatever. Use, and they have helped the department far exceed its recent hiring goals. Now, with that, I'm just going to put a little kind of asterisk there and go, hiring goals is one thing, retention is another. You need to have both, because it doesn't do any good to hire 10,000 people if you lost 20,000, if that makes sense, right? So let's jump into it. VA Secretary told reporters on Wednesday that the VA has used a whole range of tools to boost recruitment and retention, and said the department plans to soon unveil additional tools to continue with this momentum. All right. We have more tools that we'll be announcing soon on this because this is a profoundly important issue. Agreed. That's why we push out this information, because it really is. The VA Secretary said during a monthly press conference that the department has been aggressive across the enterprise in the use of existing authorities. Those include critical skills incentives under the Toxic Exposure PACT Act. He also said the VA has used critical skills incentives about 5,000 times across the department so far. Those are specific incentives for employees with a skill demonstrated to be in shortage in each individual market. So we are using those aggressively, he said. The VA, under the PACT Act, has the authority to set special salary rates, SSRs, for those seeking government employment. And you look at the VA, it's kind of good to know that, hey, look, the VA has the authority to set special salary rates. So this is important for you. For non-medical positions that fall under Title V. VA Office of Information and Technology currently has an SSR that has led to 17% average pay raise for its IT and cybersecurity employees. So not quite sure. This could be for current employees to retain you. Hey, look, I'm going to leave because I got a better job offer, or I'm going to leave because I'm going to go find a better job. They may bump you up. Again, important to know. The VA Secretary said its critical pay position authority is still under review for use. The VA has added, the VA, he added, is talking with managers about how to use these incentives and gather feedback from employees who benefit from them. He also said the VA is constantly auditing how they're being used. We can all remember when a bunch of people received pay raises, I can't remember the dollar figure, but millions, that shouldn't have been given these incentive bonuses. So not raises, but bonuses. All right. The VA Secretary said VA leadership was briefed Friday on watch out fors with use of those incentives. That includes the VA learning from overzealousness of award. Hey, how funny. So let's start that again. The VA leadership was briefed Friday on watch out fors with the use of those incentives. That includes the VA learning from the overzealousness of awarding nearly $10 million worth of critical skills incentives to VA career executives. Yeah, I did a video on this, so it's funny that I'm glad that I remembered it and said it before I read it. And I already know, maybe I skimmed this before, but usually I don't. I read the headline, I start to read it, I'm like, okay, cool. And then I don't post the video if it doesn't make sense. So anyway, the VA announced last month that recouping those bonuses over concerns that the awards went to more executives than intended. That has been very difficult. That has been a very difficult experience for our leaders. And I've apologized personally to them for the way that I've handled those, and that it is also part of our learning experience in this, he said. I mean, what else are you going to say? Oops. We're going to institute these tools with care, and we're going to constantly watch how we're doing it, he added. The Veterans Health Administration far exceeded its hiring goals for fiscal 2023 and is retaining healthcare workers at levels it hasn't seen since the start of COVID-19. That's good news, and I love when you combine the two, hiring and retention. We feel quite strongly that was a successful year of hiring, he said. He added the VHA's Reboot Task Force focused on reducing clinical burnout contributed to the VHA seeing improved retention during its fiscal year 2023 hiring surge. We've always made the point that the best hiring strategies begin with the proven retention strategies, agree? And our retention strategy was built in large measure, but not entirely, on the Reboot Task Force, he said. And it looks like that ends it. So that ends that article. So hopefully what's happening is that overall the VA is learning from some of the wins from the VHA, so from the Veterans Healthcare Administration. Now, the healthcare industry is hard anyway when you're looking for doctors and nurses and you have certain requirements and all of that. So that's a hard fill, right? So the retention's good. They hit their hiring goals, good. Are we as the veteran community still going to see shortages for doctors and all? Of course we are. Nurses and all that stuff, just by the nature of that business. But the rest of the VA, specifically the VBA, the Benefits Administration, hopefully is going to pick up some of the tips and tricks, I believe, from the VHA and work to implement those, and then also bolster up some of these additional incentive tools, and make sure that they don't fumble the ball like they did before, because quite frankly that's an embarrassment, and you can't have that because there'll be people like me out there calling you out. So I don't know. I mean, it's, again, the VA is a gigantic monster of an organization, and it will take time to turn the boat for you Navy folks. Turning the ship is not a quick task. So hopefully we'll get things in the right direction, and we'll see what comes down the way from that. So anyway, we'll end it there. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. Have a great one. Remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.